Welcome back to my channel. This is the part 2 of In This Era of Endless Night, where gods refuse to die, he gains the ability that executes the gods. You can watch the part 1 in this channel. I put a link on the description below. Let's continue the story. Meanwhile, in the city of Unai, each individual went about their day separately, finding enjoyment in their own activities despite the chilly weather. Posters prominently displayed throughout every corner of the city showcased the Night Watch, a vigilant force responsible for safeguarding the well-being of the general populace from various threats, ensuring the safety and security of living in Unai. Jong Yu went to a store, contemplating whether he wanted to seek more information but ultimately only glanced at basic knowledge. While shopping for food inside the store, he also picked up a bottle. Jong Yu sighed, considering the likelihood that valuable information would be preserved and kept hidden due to Uncle Lu's character, potentially limiting access in the future. As Jong Yu prepared to pay for his groceries at the checkout counter, he received an incoming call on his phone, surprising him to find that it was Lu Yao Yao. Jong Yu answered the call, and Lu Yao Yao asked if he could buy her a box of eggs and a box of milk. Initially, she had intended to buy more items but changed her mind and requested only the eggs and milk. Jong Yu retrieved the items Lu Yao Yao had asked for and decided to also buy her pants. He was aware that she needed pads but felt too embarrassed to ask directly. He reassured her that there was no need for hesitation and that she shouldn't feel uncomfortable mentioning it to him. Finally, Jong Yu finished his grocery shopping and left the store. As he walked along the streets, he contemplated the fact that there was only a month left until the start of his studies. Amidst his thoughts, he considered the significant improvement he was experiencing in the effectiveness of his shadow exercise routine. He also realized that relying solely on shadow training might not be sufficient and pondered the idea of incorporating more hands-on exercises into his routine. Jong Yu also noticed an increase in the promotion of efforts against alien races, with a rise in fights against them. Consequently, more students were participating in this year's martial arts examination. He looked up at the full moon above and a thought crossed his mind that something unfavorable might occur in the world soon. However, he believed it would be wiser not to dwell on those thoughts and avoid causing unnecessary anxiety. Instead, he considered facing alien races and improving himself through fights with them to be a more positive approach. Feeling slightly nervous, Jong Yu quickly surveyed his surroundings, ensuring there was nobody nearby. With his concentration focused, he formulated a strategy for venturing into the less illuminated and less known parts of the world. Carefully navigating his way to the dark side, Jong Yu's first observation was the remarkably low health points of an individual, catching him off guard. Without hesitation, he prepared himself to launch an attack swiftly. In response, Jong Yu redirected his attention to the approaching figure emerging from the dimly lit section of the streets. His gaze fixated on the individual as they drew nearer, and he noticed that their health was alarmingly low, merely at 14%. Furthermore, the person exhibited visible wounds, indicating that they were hurt. As the person approached, Jong Yu had a clear view of their condition and appearance. To his surprise, upon closer observation, he suddenly recognized a sense of familiarity in their features. Eventually, he realized that the wounded individual approaching him was none other than his neighbor from the same building. This situation piqued Jong Yu's curiosity as he began to wonder about the circumstances that had led the person to the dark side. Jong Yu's surprise deepened when he witnessed the injured person collapse right in front of him, falling to the ground. Captivated by the scene, Jong Yu's attention was drawn to the person's dwindling health points, and he remained relatively silent. As he glanced at the person, his gaze extended to the surrounding environment, where he noticed something peculiar that had appeared behind the injured individual. Suddenly, a strange creature materialized out of thin air, displaying a health status of 24, indicating that it was not in the best condition. Jong Yu surmised that this creature was likely responsible for the injuries inflicted on the person who had approached him earlier. The weird creature then shifted its attention to both Jong Yu and the injured person lying on the ground, its menacing expression suggesting that it was prepared to cause harm. Feeling a surge of anger, Jong Yu confronted the strange creature, questioning its role in the injuries sustained by the person on the ground. Meanwhile, one of the individuals who worked the night shift sighed, visibly expressing his fatigue. He mentioned that the workload in the night department had increased, leading to his heightened exhaustion. Initially, he had believed that the administrative tasks in the night department would be straightforward and rewarding. However, he was caught off guard when he found himself working longer hours every day, extending into the late hours. Reflecting on the situation, he wondered if he had been aware of this demanding workload beforehand, as it might have influenced his decision to register for the comprehensive military examination. While engrossed in his own activities, the man suddenly heard a noise resembling a cry for help. He discovered two children struggling to seek assistance, as they were under attack from the dark side. The man began to contemplate whether the alien races were behind the attack on the children, attempting to lure people into the dark side. However, he hesitated as he tried to decipher how these alien races could traverse from the dark side to their world to cause trouble. Additionally, he could not recall any instances where people were directly led into the dark side. The children found themselves in a dire situation, exerting every effort to call for help. When they noticed the man nearby, he reacted swiftly and without hesitation, springing into action to aid the kids who were in grave danger and desperately in need of assistance. The man reached out his hand towards the children, finally managing to grasp hold of them. However, despite his efforts, he encountered difficulty in pulling the kids out due to a powerful force at play. To his astonishment, as soon as he had a firm grip on the children, an unexpected force began pulling him in as well. Helpless and unable to take action, fear and apprehension washed over him as he realized he was being drawn into the dark side. The man and the children found themselves on the dark side, separated from their previous location. The siblings were now crying and feeling disoriented, unsure of their whereabouts. The man, caught in this unforeseen situation, began to overthink his circumstances. Realizing that, like the civilians around him, he lacked protective gear for defense, he became lost in thought. He contemplated the inherent danger of their situation and couldn't help but consider the possibility of sudden death. Out of nowhere, a strange creature appeared before them. Reacting swiftly, the man positioned himself protectively in front of the children, shielding them from the entity. Fueled by concern, he instinctively used his leg to kick the approaching shadow, warding off the strange creature's attempts to harm them. Fully engaged in the fight, the man noticed that the small crack they had initially observed had vanished, leading him to the realization that returning to their own world might no longer be an option. Deeply absorbed in contemplating how they could find their way back home, the man suddenly noticed something extremely frightening right in front of him, a large, dark creature. The man quickly understood that there could be alien races lurking in the dark side, ready to attack. Unfortunately, due to spending considerable time on administrative tasks, he had forgotten the basic fighting skills he had acquired during the military exam. As he gazed at the children, he realized their circumstances were even more challenging, as they lacked any fighting abilities to defend themselves. The kids began crying, overwhelmed by fear and discomfort in this unfamiliar place. Through their cries, they expressed their strong desire to return home. In an attempt to ensure their safety in the dark side, the man devised a plan. Recognizing that activating the distress signal was their only viable option at that time, he decided to initiate it and patiently wait for help to arrive. With determination, he switched on the distress signal, maintaining a composed demeanor despite the unfavorable situation. Walking over to the children, he sought to comfort them. He handed them the device, explaining that it had the capability to temporarily reduce the pollution in the area. He reassured the kids that he was committed to coming up with ideas to keep them safe and eventually lead them back home where they belonged. Entrusting the device to the children, the man believed it was the wisest decision. He pondered whether the children had any chance of enduring the situation they were in, realizing that their fate rested in the hands of uncontrollable circumstances. The young boy, seeking reassurance, questioned the man about his true intentions of safely returning them home. The man assured the boy that their current strategy involved finding a hiding spot and patiently waiting for the rescue team to arrive. However, a sense of danger arose as the man sensed an unusual presence fixating its gaze on them from a distance. He shared with the boy that there was a minor matter he needed to address before they could proceed to find a safe place to hide. He mentioned the strange creature's presence, expressing concern that it might pose a threat and potentially launch an attack. Recalling his past experiences, the man recounted how, at the age of 18, he had successfully passed the military strength examination, which granted him admission to the university's department specializing in superpowers. During his first year at the university, he dedicated himself to regular training sessions, diligently working towards building a strong foundation in pursuit of his dream of becoming a fighter. In his second year, under the guidance of his teacher, he achieved a significant milestone by defeating an unidentified alien entity. This accomplishment filled him with joy and a profound sense of pride, as it showcased the positive outcomes of his unwavering training efforts. However, upon observing how effortlessly some individuals could wield their superpowers, he began to doubt whether his dedicated efforts and hard work were truly sufficient. He realized that in a world where superpowers were prevalent, the significance of exerting effort through hard work seemed to diminish when compared to the innate genetic abilities some individuals possessed. Despite his consistent training and diligent efforts, he found himself unable to meet the expectations he had set for himself. Despite his lack of belief in fate and regardless of the earnest efforts he exerted, he ultimately discovered that he couldn't overcome the limitations that held him back. Finally, he reached a turning point where he had to make a choice. He decided to switch from the military forces department to the morals department, ultimately becoming a regular employee within the Night Watch division. As he prepared to confront the monster standing before him, he mentally readied himself for the impending battle. He took a moment to carefully examine the creature's appearance, aiming to determine its classification and identify the type of monster he was about to engage in combat with. The moment he laid eyes on the monster, recognizing its semi-animal appearance with 4 limbs and 4 eyes, he immediately realized that it belonged to a higher level of advanced middle-class aliens. The alien creature rushed toward him with considerable speed, prompting him to swiftly adjust his posture and stance, preparing himself to face the approaching challenge head-on. Despite not having been in a fight since he switched to the morals department, he stood steadfast, showing no sign of wavering as he encountered the alien creature. As the man initiated his assault on the alien, the creature began to bleed, its blood spilling out as a result of the attack. Uncertain about the consequences, the man decided to throw a punch at the alien, unsure of what would unfold next. In the midst of the tense situation, he continued to strike the monster relentlessly, despite the noticeable difference in their sizes. The more the man punched, the more difficult it became for the alien to retaliate. The continuous strikes seemed to impede the creature's ability to defend itself effectively. However, a familiar feeling crept in triggered by his act of punching the alien, leaving him taken aback by the unexpected turn of events. The alien managed to catch him off guard from behind, forcefully pushing him against the wall. As he prepared to stand up, the alien wasted no time and swiftly moved towards him with great speed, catching him off guard once again. Despite his intention to evade the oncoming attack, the man found himself contemplating the situation. While his mind recognized the need to avoid the strike, his body seemed to lag behind, failing to respond accordingly. Reacting swiftly to the alien's attack, the man successfully evaded the impending strike. Despite the alien's relentless assaults, the man struggled to launch a successful counterattack, relying on his agility to skillfully evade each incoming strike, protecting himself from harm. As he adeptly evaded the ongoing attacks, he noticed an unusual change in his physical condition. It felt as though his body was gradually growing heavier, akin to the sensation one might experience after enduring numerous needle piercings. While skillfully evading the alien's continuous attacks, the man's mind was fully engaged, generating various ideas to overcome the situation at hand. He actively contemplated ways to conquer the challenges posed by the relentless alien onslaught, fueled by determination. With determination burning within him, the man clenched his fist, realizing he couldn't prolong the situation any further. He was resolute in his intention to eliminate the threat posed by the alien and prepared to take decisive action. Assuming a determined posture, the man positioned himself to launch an attack directly targeting the alien. Fully prepared and geared up, he summoned his inner strength and unleashed a surge of shadowy energy towards the alien, rendering it temporarily sightless. Without holding back, he channeled all the energy he possessed into his hands, unleashing a powerful attack to defeat the alien and neutralize it as a threat to himself and the children accompanying him in the darkness. Despite the alien's composed demeanor, it continued to attack the man forcefully from the dark side, persisting in their fierce confrontation. However, as the battle wore on, the man found it increasingly difficult to breathe due to the worsening pollution in the vicinity. He noticed that every time the aliens utilized their extraordinary abilities, it resulted in a surge of pollution in the environment. When the man assumed his normal employee role, he was fortunate that the aliens didn't rely on their superpowers as frequently, leading to better pollution control. However, this turn of events also proved unfortunate for him since he couldn't fully utilize the abilities he had diligently developed and honed. Despite facing adversity, the man firmly held onto the belief that he shouldn't refrain from engaging in the fight simply because he didn't feel completely prepared. He continued to actively participate in combat against the alien species. During one instance when he rushed towards an alien, he realized he wasn't adequately prepared for the counterattack, resulting in injuries and leaving him vulnerable to further assaults. He was propelled through the air and crashed onto the ground by the force of the alien's attack, sustaining significant injuries and physical harm. Frustration mounted for the man as he faced ongoing struggles in his battle against the aliens, finding it increasingly arduous as the confrontation persisted. Observing the alien charging towards him, he considered that the creature had likely become accustomed to its powers quickly, making it a middle-class opponent among its kind, one that a martial arts student could likely defeat with relative ease using only one hand. However, when the responsibility of fighting the alien fell upon him, he encountered a formidable challenge, prompting contemplation on the distinction between effort and natural talent. While he believed that winning the fight might be an improbable feat for him, given his occupation as a night cop, he remained resolute in his determination to hold his ground without yielding an inch. Thinking about the frightened children in his care, he realized that their best course of action in that situation was to exercise patience, as no other viable options appeared available to them at that particular moment. The man was caught off guard as the alien swiftly charged towards him, launching repeated attacks that took him by surprise and caused him to endure unexpected blows, resulting in multiple injuries. The alien's aggressive assault forcefully drove the man into the ground, inflicting severe harm. Despite his grave injuries, the man's determination remained steadfast as he awaited the arrival of his fellow night police officers to rescue him. Struggling to recover from the powerful blows and finding it challenging to rise again, he became increasingly aware that his life might be in peril, prompting his mind to revisit a poignant memory from his past that flooded back to him in that critical moment. In that critical moment, the man's mind transported him to a memory from his past, where he had witnessed the tragic circumstances surrounding a close relative. This event had occurred when he was only 15 years old. Additionally, he recalled a distinct memory from his life, the moment he had made the decision to enlist in the military forces department at the age of 18. Amidst the chaos of the present situation, triggered by these recollections, the man's hand instinctively reached out. He remembered another memory from when he was 20 years old, having completed his sophomore year at the university. Circumstances had compelled him to withdraw from the combat department at the age of 21. He had initially joined the department as a trainee and had progressed to become an ordinary employee. Now, 4 years had passed since then, and the man reflected that even though he was leading a regular, everyday life, it was still his own life to live. In the ongoing interaction between humans and monsters, which often lacked the tranquility and peace presented by the government to the general public, many individuals found themselves constantly yearning for an escape from the harsh reality that surrounded them. Contemplating the idea that death might be a natural outcome for those possessing supernatural abilities, the man retrieved something from his pocket. It turned out that he had reached into his pocket to retrieve a blue pill. Holding the pill in his hand, he proceeded to swallow it. Upon ingesting the pill, a powerful surge of energy coursed through his body. In that moment, he realized that by consuming the pill, he had taken on the responsibility to protect the children. The pill had restored his strength, and along with it, a surge of bravery welled up within him. Empowered by this newfound courage, the man boldly confronted the alien once more, declaring the start of round 2. He made it clear that he was prepared to face the challenge anew and continue the fight. With his physical abilities heightened, he felt a strong sense of enthusiasm and readiness to engage in combat with the alien. Summoning his bravery, the man confidently assumed his stance, displaying determination and confidence. He was fully prepared to confront the alien, showing no hesitation in his actions. Charging forward with determination, he aimed to counterattack the alien, skillfully evading each blow despite the alien's repeated attacks. Seizing the opportunity, the man executed a swift counterattack, delivering a powerful kick to the alien's face. The forceful and vigorous nature of his strike steadily pushed the alien backward, unable to withstand the impact of his powerful blows. Gathering all his strength into his fist, the man unleashed a mighty punch with great force, channeling every ounce of his determination into the strike. With each punch he landed on the alien, the man mentally reaffirmed his commitment to persevere a little longer, holding on to his unwavering determination to continue the fight. After a series of intense efforts where he exerted all his energy, the man began to notice a gradual decrease in his strength. The man repeated to himself, urging to keep going for a little longer, even as he felt his energy dwindling. His determination refused to waver until he had expended every ounce of his strength. After a series of punches, however, he discovered that he could no longer move his fist. Filled with surprise and trembling with realization, he understood that his body had reached its limit and could no longer respond. This revelation struck him deeply, having exerted all his strength in those punches. Unable to move, the man became vulnerable, and the alien took advantage of the opportunity to strike back with a powerful blow. He was forcefully thrown to the ground, lying there in a helpless state. Contemplating his own limitations and the repercussions of his abilities, tears welled up in his eyes. He gasped at the notion that he couldn't even achieve small victories and felt utterly powerless in the situation. As he thought that his life was coming to an end, his attention was abruptly seized by the sound of a human nearby. Someone named John could be heard shouting that he had arrived to find a boy who hadn't waited by the door. The man's mind pondered whether this person he heard was a night watchman, but he was uncertain due to the voice and speech patterns. It was difficult to believe that an ordinary person would venture to the dark side. Approaching him, Jong Yu advised the man to rest for a while and entrusted the remaining situation to himself. Jong Yu was prepared to fight the monster with his own bravery. Observing Jong Yu, the man realized that going into or coming out of the dark side was strictly prohibited by the inspection department. He found it hard to believe that someone could simply come there without any trouble. The man considered the possibility that Jong Yu could be a mysterious individual residing in the dark side. However, his thoughts were interrupted when he received a punch and fell into a calm and silent state, causing him to reassess his previous assumptions. Due to the alien's attack, Jong Yu was forcefully knocked off the ground, revealing his vulnerability despite his initial confidence. Witnessing this, the man recognized Jong Yu's weakness. As the alien turned its attention towards him, preparing for another attack, Jong Yu suddenly rose to his feet and positioned himself to deliver a powerful slap to the alien. Caught off guard, the alien let out a cry of agony as Jong Yu's strong slap struck its face, causing significant pain and discomfort. Feeling anger towards the monster for targeting the man instead of him, Jong Yu diverted its focus away from the man. Showing no hesitation, he confidently pointed at the alien and asserted that he was the one the alien should be facing in the battle, not the man. While Jong Yu continued his fight against the alien, time continued to pass in the dark side, ticking away. Jong Yu remained locked in combat with the monster, skillfully evading all of its counter-attacks with swift and precise movements. He retrieved the bottle he had purchased earlier from the grocery store, intending to use it as an improvised weapon. Aggressively wielding the bottle, Jong Yu struck the alien with force. Jong Yu continued to press on with his battle against the alien. Despite the alien's attempts to launch attacks with its sharp hands, Jong Yu skillfully evaded them, avoiding serious injuries. After deftly dodging the alien's counterattack, Jong Yu swiftly identified an opening and took advantage of it, delivering an unexpected strike from the side that caught the alien off guard. Playfully teasing the alien, Jong Yu pointed out his ability to anticipate and counter its attacks, citing their multiple past battles as the source of his insights. Through a series of attacks, Jong Yu inflicted severe injuries on the alien, resulting in a noticeable decrease in its speed and strength compared to before. The alien cried out in pain, struggling to stop Jong Yu's relentless assault. Overwhelmed by the intensity of its injuries, the alien felt helpless and unable to effectively retaliate against Jong Yu's attacks. Taking a brief pause, Jong Yu left the alien in a state of confusion, unsure of his next move. The man whom Jong Yu had rescued observed Jong Yu's actions, uncertain whether they indicated strength or weakness. Although Jong Yu's actions didn't appear particularly remarkable, the man sensed that he possessed the capability to overpower an opponent if necessary. In a firm and serious tone, Jong Yu threatened the alien, recalling a previous incident when it had injured him. He declared his intention to reciprocate by targeting the alien's throat and charged forward with unwavering determination. As Jong Yu rushed towards the alien, he noticed that it was also preparing to launch an attack against him. The alien struck Jong Yu's body with force, overpowering him and throwing him off balance. The impact sent Jong Yu crashing into the wall, triggering a memory of a previous situation where he had been taken by surprise and the alien had successfully landed a blow on him. Disappointed in his own actions, Jong Yu recognized that his lack of caution in attacking the alien had led to his own injury, once again highlighting a recurring pattern where he ended up hurt due to his approach. Under the impression that Jong Yu had been caught off guard and would be an easy target, the alien rushed straight at him. Considering the safety of the children, Jong Yu contemplated the idea of seeking safety by escaping to the dark side and returning after a few days. However, He also recognized that such an approach didn't align with his usual style of handling situations. Jong Yu realizes that there's no need to fear the alien, considering its health points are down to 20%, acknowledging that facing the alien in battle will indeed be a challenging situation for him. The man offers advice to Jong Yu, suggesting that he target the alien's already seriously injured ribs for attack. Acknowledging the man's advice, Jong Yu swiftly rushes toward the alien, putting his plan into action. The alien appears uncertain and puzzled as it tries to anticipate where Jong Yu is planning to launch his attack. With a chuckle, Jong Yu feels a sense of relief as he realizes that things are going well according to his intended plan. Jong Yu continues to baffle the alien by keeping it uncertain about where his next attack will be aimed. Seizing the opportunity when the alien is caught off guard, Jong Yu launches an attack, using the sharp bottle he was wielding as a weapon to injure the alien. The alien lets out a pained scream as Jong Yu stabs it, causing its health points to decrease to 18. Screaming in distress, the alien quickly turns and rushes away in the opposite direction from Jong Yu, as if trying to escape from the ongoing fight. Jong Yu finds himself in a state of confusion, uncertain whether the alien is attempting to flee from the situation and pondering where it might be heading. As the alien passes by the man, he immediately begins contemplating the potential motives behind the alien's actions. The man urgently alerts Jong Yu, who promptly reacts to the situation, realizing that the alien is attempting to reach the children. The man's assumption proves accurate, as the monster indeed aims to target the children. The alien rushes towards the children, positioning itself in front of them with the intention of harming them. The alien's intent leaves both the man and Jong Yu feeling anxious. It races towards the children with a clear aim of harming them, which is deeply concerning, especially considering that the alien seems desperate to take their lives in order to increase its own health points. The alien makes an attempt to devour the children, positioning itself directly in front of them with its massive mouth wide open. Filled with fear, the children look on, believing that the alien intends to eat them. The older brother instinctively hugs his sister tightly, both of them frightened by the thought of being eaten by the alien. With a sense of acceptance and no other option in sight, the older brother shuts his eyes tightly, allowing the outcome to rest in the hands of the alien. Summoning all his strength, Jong Yu directs his focus to his arms, determined to intervene and stop the alien from causing harm to the children. Determined to protect the children, Jong Yu readies himself to throw the bottle at the alien with all the strength he can muster. He knows that this action is his best chance to prevent any harm from coming to the children. Jong Yu hurls the bottle towards the alien with a powerful and forceful throw, and the bottle rapidly advances toward the alien, heading straight for a direct impact. While the alien is in the process of trying to consume the children, the bottle almost reaches it. Despite Jong Yu's full effort in throwing the bottle, the alien manages to successfully evade it. The bottle went straight through the alien, continuing its trajectory and heading towards the man's position. Summoning all his strength, the man attempted to strike the alien with his body while catching it off guard. The alien became aware of the man positioned on top of it and recognized that the man was likely preparing to launch an attack while it was vulnerable and had the upper hand. With swift determination, the man charged forward towards the alien, channeling all his strength into his lower body. After mustering all his strength, the man successfully inflicted an injury upon the alien. However, the monster swiftly regained its composure and launched a counterattack, throwing the man to the ground. As a result of the man's attack, the alien's health points decreased from 18% to 15%. The alien forcefully threw the man to the ground, causing him to suffer from the impact and cough up blood. In his severe condition, the man urgently called out to Jong Yu, pleading for him to save him. While the man struggled to regain his strength, the alien set its intention on launching another attack against him. Fear filled the man's eyes as he looked at the alien, realizing that it was on the verge of consuming him completely. Just as the alien was about to consume the man, Jong Yu swiftly intervened, coming to the man's rescue and gripping the alien's head. Jong Yu grinned jokingly as he held onto the alien's head, showing his determination to stop the alien's harmful intentions. The alien was caught off guard when Jong Yu suddenly bit its neck, aiming to bring an end to its life. As Jong Yu bit into the alien's neck, its health points decreased further, dropping down to 14. Jong Yu persisted in his attacks on the alien, maintaining his grip on its hair while continuing to deliver attacks. As Jong Yu kept the alien pinned down, he playfully teased it, suggesting that as an alien, it should be barking rather than engaging in combat and trying to harm others. Jong Yu's continued assault on the alien caused it to struggle intensely, leading to a continuous decrease in its health points. The alien was truly surprised by what Jong Yu did. It thought that Jong Yu's actions looked a lot like cannibalism, which is when one creature eats another creature of the same kind. The alien didn't understand how Jong Yu was able to do it, so it asked Jong Yu to explain how he managed such a thing. Jong Yu tried to tear the alien into smaller parts, but then he noticed a bright light coming from the alien's body. This light piqued Jong Yu's curiosity, and he wanted to know what it was. Jong Yu decided that he wanted to take the light form out of the alien's body. Using a lot of strength, he attempted to remove the light from the alien's body. The alien struggled to fight back as Jong Yu was trying to remove it, but Jong Yu used all his power to try and end the alien's life. Jong Yu was very determined to end the alien's life in order to stop it from hurting others in the near future. As Jong Yu put all his strength into his actions, the things around him began to move strangely. This was due to the strong force he was exerting, which started to affect his surroundings in unusual ways. The force that Jong Yu was generating continued to intensify, causing the environment around him to become increasingly intense. After a prolonged struggle, Jong Yu managed to muster all his strength and successfully defeat the alien, putting an end to its life. They had been engaged in a long, arduous battle, particularly when they encountered each other in the dark side of their encounters. Once Jong Yu had vanquished the alien, he began coughing, and to his surprise, he started coughing up a significant amount of blood. The surroundings on the dark side started to crack and shake as a result of Jong Yu's actions. As Jong Yu regained his footing, he could sense a powerful force gathering around him. This force was so potent that it caused objects to float, defying the usual pull of gravity. The items around him started exhibiting peculiar and unexpected behaviors due to this unusual force. Right before Jong Yu's eyes, his surroundings began to develop cracks and fractures. The ground kept cracking and trembling, an effect caused by Jong Yu's emission of an extraordinary force. This force caused the dark side to become even more peculiar and unsettling. After their encounter with the alien, the man and the children were utterly exhausted and fell into a peaceful sleep. This occurred before Jong Yu took action to rescue them. After eliminating the alien, Jong Yu took a moment to shake off the intense experience and regain his composure. Reflecting on the situation, Jong Yu felt a sense of relief. The alien that he had fought against numerous times and had previously been defeated by had finally been overcome. Not only that, but he had also successfully rescued the man and the children, removing them from danger. While Jong Yu observed the man and the children, he began to notice that his ability to see clearly was gradually fading, and his vision became blurry. Jong Yu felt confused and uncertain about how to proceed when his vision suddenly became increasingly blurred. The blurriness persisted and worsened, to the point where even when Jong Yu looked at his own shadow, his sight gradually faded. After struggling for a minute to hold on, Jong Yu's vision was completely gone, and he lost consciousness. Once unconscious, he started to have a dream. In this dream, he witnessed the dark side of the world, a place shrouded in darkness like nighttime. However, something astonishing occurred: the entire dark place caught fire. As Jong Yu continued dreaming, he saw something exceptionally peculiar. Despite the inferno and the transformation of everything into ashes, he could discern a group of people lying on the ground. In his dream, the entire city on the dark side became engulfed in flames, with fire spreading across buildings, streets, and everything else, creating a fiery scene. Jong Yu felt deeply puzzled within his dream, uncertain of his location. Everything around him seemed unfamiliar, like nothing he recognized. He surveyed his surroundings, attempting to make sense of the bewildering environment in his dream. Something caught his attention, and he suddenly spotted an unfamiliar sight. There were peculiar creatures, a species he couldn't recognize or name. Out of nowhere, these strange creatures that Jong Yu had noticed earlier gathered around him, forming a circle. In his dream, these unfamiliar beings became the focal point, with Jong Yu right in the middle of it all. He found himself in a perplexing situation, observing the beings but unable to determine if they were extraterrestrial or not. As Jong Yu closely examined the strange beings that he suspected might be aliens, something astonishing occurred. Without warning, these creatures he was unsure about suddenly launched an attack on him. Jong Yu was completely taken by surprise, as he had not anticipated their aggressive approach. The sudden presence of the aliens surrounding him left him startled and caught off guard. They swiftly closed in on him, pulling him into their midst. It happened so rapidly that he couldn't help but become entangled within their group. In his dream, Jong Yu envisioned a scenario where he became drawn into the aliens' world, becoming a part of their realm. In this world of shadows, a place where the earth seemed fractured and the light faded, the concept of death was uncertain and enigmatic. It was a puzzling realm, different from what we know, inviting contemplation about what lies beyond our understanding and sparking curiosity about the nature of change in life. While Jong Yu was immersed in his dream, he emitted various sounds, as if speaking aloud. The man and the children could hear these strange sounds as he struggled in his dreams. Gradually, Jong Yu started regaining awareness, awakening to a sense of consciousness. In this phase, he felt a compelling urge to reach out his hand to the man, a gesture seeking help. Simultaneously, the man he had saved earlier stood before him, displaying a mix of concern and curiosity. The man inquired if Jong Yu was still alive after his prolonged unconsciousness. Jong Yu found himself in a state of confusion as he tried to comprehend the man's words. Puzzled by the man's question, he took a moment to reflect on his recent experiences and questioned the possibility that everything he had undergone might have been nothing more than a mere dream. After awakening, Jong Yu's mind wandered, unable to recall anything that transpired after defeating the alien species. He pointed at the heads of the aliens and attempted to explain a technique called shade eating. As Jong Yu utilized his unique power, something intriguing happened. The heads of the aliens began to disappear. They gradually faded away, as if his ability had the power to make them vanish into thin air. The man appeared puzzled and uncertain about Jong Yu's well-being, as he was confused by the lack of communication from Jong Yu. This left the man wondering if everything was all right with Jong Yu. The man became concerned and curious about Jong Yu's silence, trying to understand the reason behind it and if something was wrong. Jong Yu was alarmed to notice that the man's health points had dropped to just 10%, indicating a dangerous condition. However, based on a system reference that assessed health using a measure related to blood volume, Jong Yu realized there was still a chance to help the man recover. Feeling confused, Jong Yu saw the man rise from his previous position and reach out to hold his shoulder. This sudden action caught Jong Yu off guard, leaving him uncertain about the man's intentions and movements. Out of nowhere, the man instructed Jong Yu to assist him in leaning against the wall. Both Jong Yu and the man leaned against the wall together, finding a comfortable spot to rest. They let out a sigh of relief, synchronized in their shared moment, which offered a brief respite from the events unfolding in the dark surroundings. While still leaning against the wall, the man shared his thoughts with Jong Yu, expressing his belief that he was not actually a night watchman, contrary to assumptions that might have been made. Jong Yu felt puzzled by the man's words and couldn't help but wonder if the man truly didn't recognize him, despite living in the same building. It seemed strange because Jong Yu had seen this man around the building multiple times before, assuming they would have at least some familiarity due to their shared living space. Jong Yu firmly rejected the man's assumption and clarified that he was not a night watchman, determined to make it clear. The man had initially mistaken Jong Yu for a night watchman, but upon hearing the fact, he became convinced that Jong Yu was not one. As their conversation continued, the man remarked that fighting was quite tough and emphasized that he himself was definitely not a night watchman. Jong Yu thought of the man in a strange manner, finding it amusing how he laughed off the situation beside him. Jong Yu believed that the man lacked proper communication skills and had forgotten the fact that Jong Yu had saved him earlier from the alien. With a lighthearted laugh, the man admitted that he had been joking and expressed regret for playfully teasing Jong Yu. He extended his apology and complimented Jong Yu for his amazing skill. Amused, the man chuckled as he recalled Jong Yu's earlier use of a soy bottle as a weapon against the alien, pointing out that Jong Yu seemed to be the only one who had ever used such a unique weapon in their battle. While finding amusement in Jong Yu's earlier use of the soy bottle, Jong Yu contemplated how the man managed to remain calm and continue laughing despite the challenging circumstances they had faced. Notably, the man's ability to laugh, even with decreased health points, caught Jong Yu's attention. Jong Yu reflected on the night guard's tendency to maintain a cheerful aura despite facing challenges. Suddenly, the man inquired about the university Jong Yu attended, prompting Jong Yu to provide a fabricated answer in order to keep personal matters private. Jong Yu playfully steered the conversation to another topic. However, when Jong Yu responded about the university, the man continued to pursue the topic by asking if Jong Yu was studying martial arts or liberal arts. This put Jong Yu in an awkward situation, contemplating whether to disclose the truth or not. Jong Yu perceived that the man was becoming comfortable asking personal questions, assuming that Jong Yu must be pursuing studies in martial arts or liberal arts, believing Jong Yu couldn't handle mediocrity. Out of the blue, the man abruptly asked if Jong Yu had a cigarette, leaving Jong Yu puzzled about the sudden change in topic. Jong Yu offered a biscuit instead, as that was all he had to offer in exchange for the requested cigarette. The man expressed gratitude and accepted the biscuit appreciatively. Jong Yu split the biscuit into 2 parts, intending to share half with the man on the night watch. The man was surprised that Jong Yu had given him only half of the biscuit. As Jong Yu extended the biscuit to him, Jong Yu told the man to go ahead and enjoy it. Jong Yu pointed towards the scattered biscuits on the ground, explaining that they had been broken into pieces during the battle. Jong Yu offered to gather them for the man, but the man instructed Jong Yu to collect them for himself instead. While enjoying their biscuits, both Jong Yu and the man fell into a silence after their previous conversation. After an extended period of silence, the man initiated a new line of conversation by asking if this was Jong Yu's first experience in single-handedly hunting down an alien. Jong Yu confirmed the man's question and acknowledged the correctness of his assumption. Continuing the conversation, the man opened up to Jong Yu, expressing a sense of envy towards people like Jong Yu who were born with natural talents. He contrasted himself, describing his perceived weaknesses in terms of abilities and determination, comparing it to the lifeless and hopeless environment of the dark side. He noted that even possessing a modest amount of strength could appear as weakness in the eyes of others. Jong Yu advised the man to conserve his energy and refrain from talking, suggesting they wait for a rescue team. In response, the man reassured Jong Yu that he understood but expressed his desire for company and conversation to pass the time. The man likened the determination of their civil servants to cotton wool, remarking that no matter how many layers there were, the core remained soft and easily compressible. Gazing at his injured hand, the man contemplated the challenge of finding rest in a place like the dark side, where pollution seemed to surge relentlessly. Attentively, Jong Yu listened to the man's thoughts and posed a question, asking if he regretted becoming a night watchman. Jong Yu further suggested that the man might have chosen a more general path in the field of liberal arts. The man inquired about the reasons behind a civil servant like himself striking the shadow cast by Jong Yu's words. Deep in contemplation, his fist tightened, indicating the intensity of his thoughts and the weight of their discussion. Surprisingly, the man stood up and confessed to Jong Yu that he deeply regretted the choices he had made. Emotion surged within him as he raised his voice, revealing that he had once been a mere office worker who enjoyed socializing with girls and found joy in mentoring new night watchmen effortlessly. He recounted past successes, including a period of being at the top. However, he now found himself trapped in the dark side with seemingly no way out. Amidst the man's outburst, he began to cough, and Jong Yu intervened with concern, advising him to take it easy and not overexert himself. Jong Yu cautioned that using up too much energy could decrease his chances of survival. Pointing towards the children, the man informed Jong Yu that he had already activated a rescue signal, indicating that help should be on its way to their location. He conveyed that once he managed to leave the area, assistance would likely arrive. The young boy who was with them in the dark side held the device responsible for transmitting the rescue signal from the other world, clutching it tightly with a sense of hope for rescue. As Jong Yu got to his feet, the man cautioned him against wandering around, expressing concerns about the possibility of encountering more aliens. He noted that Jong Yu's attack and escape tactics might not always be effective. Instead, he suggested that Jong Yu stay engaged in conversation with him while they awaited rescue. Contemplating the situation, Jong Yu found himself torn between the desire to escape and the realization that being with the man might be more distressing than facing aliens, as the man's company seemed to be an emotional challenge in itself. As time passed while they awaited rescue, Jong Yu and the night watchman engaged in ongoing conversation, filling the moments with their exchange of words. The man showered Jong Yu with compliments, expressing his admiration for Jong Yu's bravery when confronting the alien. He further remarked that Jong Yu's decision to join the fight had caught him off guard but had ultimately made a significant difference in the situation they had faced. Continuing his compliments, the man expressed amazement at Jong Yu's actions, particularly the effectiveness of his solo attack on the alien. The man then requested Jong Yu to visit the university on his behalf and apologize to the head. He explained that he had been unable to defeat a first-class strange creature, which had led to disappointment and unmet expectations. Jong Yu found himself unable to respond, realizing that he had previously lied about attending the university. The man conveyed a message to Jong Yu, asking him to pass along his regards to Deputy Director Huang from the Academy of Supernatural Literature. He requested Jong Yu to express gratitude for her guidance. The man also shared that the advice to always act arrogantly in class given by the deputy was somewhat embarrassing to follow. Jong Yu informed him that he would need to wait until he could retrieve his notebook to jot down all the requests the man had made. Alternatively, he suggested waiting until he had fully recovered so he could personally convey the requests. The man found himself puzzled, unsure if Jong Yu's words were meant as a joke or if there was a serious undertone to them. He then opened up to Jong Yu, explaining that he had been carrying the weight of his thoughts and feelings for years without anyone to confide in. He expressed his desire to find someone to share his thoughts with, which was why he had confided in Jong Yu with a smile. The man contemplated the idea of returning to a time when he was at the Northern Watch Academy, perhaps wishing for a chance to relive those moments. The man made a request for more cookies, specifically mentioning his preference for spicy ones. Jong Yu playfully commented on the man's unique taste preferences, remarking that it was quite unusual. He also mentioned that finding spicy-flavored biscuits was a challenge as they were not commonly available anywhere in the world. The man nodded in agreement with Jong Yu's response and decided to let go of the idea of finding spicy-flavored biscuits. After a lengthy conversation, a sense of relief washed over them as a night patrol unit appeared to be heading towards the dark side for a rescue mission. The man informed Jong Yu that a night patrol team had arrived in the dark side, and Jong Yu's face lit up with a smile, knowing that he could finally leave the situation behind. Jong Yu felt relieved, knowing that help had arrived to rescue the man and the children from their location. Seeing the rescue team on the dark side, Jong Yu quickly gathered his belongings and prepared to leave the scene and continue on his way. Jong Yu walked away, leaving behind the man and the children who were awaiting their rescue from the approaching team. The man gazed at Jong Yu as he saw him walking away, and then he mustered the courage to ask if Jong Yu might be willing to accompany them back to their world instead of staying behind in the dark side. Jong Yu reassured the man that there was no need for him to come along and told the man that he would make his way back on his own with a smile. The man expressed his agreement with Jong Yu's words and bid him farewell, wishing him a safe journey. Understanding the man's words, Jong Yu finally walked away, taking his own path and leaving behind the man and the children, knowing that the rescue team was about to arrive. Jong Yu carried on walking, fully aware that he would be continuing the journey to the other world all by himself, with focused determination. Jong Yu started to channel his concentration, preparing to return to the world he had come from earlier. Glancing back at the man he had conversed with, Jong Yu took one last look before stepping away from the dark side. Finally, after a long wait, a group of rescuers arrived on the scene to offer their help to the man and the children. Their arrival brought a sense of relief as they swiftly assessed the situation and reported the presence of a night patrol officer who had suffered significant injuries, along with the presence of the children nearby. Jong Yu observed attentively as the rescue team conducted their assessment, keeping his gaze fixed on the man. The rescuers diligently checked the man's vital signs, and Jong Yu noticed that his health points remained at a mere 10%, a reminder of the intense battle they had faced together. One of the rescuers exchanged a look with his colleague, indicating through a nod that there was little hope of saving the man's life. Jong Yu felt a sense of confusion, unsure about the unfolding situation before him. To his surprise, the man's health points started to decrease right in front of his eyes. Jong Yu was puzzled by this gradual decline, finding it hard to understand what was happening. However, he held on to the thought that modern medicine could potentially improve the man's health and lead to a full recovery. Jong Yu watched in despair as the man before him began to fade away, disappearing right in front of his eyes. The rescuers had come to terms with the unfortunate outcome and had risen to their feet. As Jong Yu was gradually being drawn back to the other side, he observed that the rescuers saluted the man in recognition of his bravery, having passed away with honor. The man's health points had dropped to 0%, and unfortunately, there was nothing Jong Yu could do to change the outcome. Even as he was almost disappearing from sight, the night watchman managed to form a faint smile on his face, leaving Jong Yu with a sense of warmth and connection in those final moments. Jong Yu could see the smile on the man's face even during his final moments, which left a quiet impression on him. He gazed at the man, watching as he slowly faded away. Desperately, Jong Yu extended his hand, hoping to hold on to the sight of the man disappearing before his eyes until the very end. However, as his hand reached out, He realized that the portal from the dark side had already closed, leaving him with a feeling of loss and a memory of the brave night watchman who had fought valiantly until the end. Upon returning to the other world, Jong Yu found himself standing in the middle of a bustling street. Passers-by were intrigued by his sudden appearance and couldn't help but wonder what he was doing, some even thinking he might be engaged in some sort of theatrical performance. As Jong Yu took in his surroundings, he noticed the patrol officers who were likely about to announce a warning to the general public of the United City. Jong Yu listened intently as the commander addressed the public, emphasizing that even in dire circumstances, exceptional individuals should never give up. The commander mentioned a blue pill that, if taken by a soldier, would greatly enhance their potential but also carried a high risk of death, up to 90%. In other words, consuming the pill could lead to a critical situation where conventional means of escape might not be possible. The commander instructed the soldiers to take the compound and be prepared to sacrifice their lives for the greater cause of the two nations. In his address, the commander emphasized the importance of self-sacrifice, urging the soldiers to bravely give up their lives for the greater cause. He assured them that their courageous actions would leave a lasting legacy, motivating them to move forward with unwavering determination to eliminate all unusual creatures until they were completely wiped out from existence. Standing firmly on the ground, their eyes turned upward, fixated on the sparkling stars that painted the night sky. They felt as if they were embarking on a journey through time itself, with their human bodies as vessels, elevating the ordinary into the extraordinary. Together, they formed the Night Observation Department, a united force harnessing their potential to safeguard the world from the unknown. After a day filled with intense battles against the aliens that left him tired and drained, Zhang made the decision to return to his home on the 8th floor of a building. As he rode the elevator, Zhang remained silent and lost in thought, haunted by the image of the man who had disappeared before his eyes into the dark side. Contemplating deeply, he continued up to his apartment, still puzzled and uncertain about the man's fate. Stepping out of the elevator onto the 8th floor, Zhang found himself immersed in his thoughts and contemplation. He couldn't help but feel disbelief and shock over the man's fate. Just moments before vanishing, the man had been laughing and engaged in a conversation with Zhang. Unlocking the door to his apartment, Zhang couldn't shake the thought that the man had passed away quietly, leaving behind a simple but meaningful connection they had shared. Reflecting within himself, Zhang acknowledged that the memory of the ordinary man would remain attached in his mind, serving as a reminder of the significance of the person's existence. This man had sacrificed himself to protect the children, leaving a lasting impact on Zhang. Exhausted and burdened emotionally, Zhang found himself lost in contemplation, grappling with physical fatigue and the frustrations of the day. Upon entering his home and seeing himself in the mirror, Zhang was surprised to find that his health points were halfway full, contrary to his expectations. He had anticipated them to be almost depleted due to the tough day he had endured. Reflecting on this, he marveled at the man's attitude, who remained composed even with only 10% health points remaining. This realization made Zhang aware of his own shortcomings and the need for further personal growth. Deciding that physical exercise alone was insufficient, Zhang began cleaning out his refrigerator, discarding all the expired food. He understood that focusing solely on physical fitness wasn't enough and that he also needed strong willpower to succeed in his endeavors. As Zhang packed the expired foods into a box, his attention was suddenly captured by a loud shout from Lu Yaoyao. She urgently asked him about the egg she had requested him to buy, which took him by surprise. Lu Yaoyao approached Zhang with concern, explaining that her phone wasn't working and she couldn't find anyone around. She asked if Zhang had already been to the chicken coop to gather the eggs as she had asked. Speaking gently, Zhang explained to Lu Yaoyao that the Chinese New Year was approaching, and there were many people waiting in long lines. That's why he didn't buy the eggs, as it would have been troublesome for him to wait in line. Zhang was taken aback as he suddenly realized that Lu Yaoyao had somehow obtained his house keys and gained access to his apartment without his knowledge. He wondered how she had managed to do so without him noticing or giving permission. Lu Yaoyao explained to Zhang that she regularly orders takeout, and Uncle Lai, who was concerned about him, entrusted her with the responsibility of looking after him. As a result, Uncle Lai gave her the keys to Zhang's apartment to make it easier for her to take care of him. When Lu Yaoyao noticed Zhang's bloody and torn clothing, she became curious if something had happened outside. She asked if he had been in a fight or encountered any trouble. Zhang averted his gaze, pulled his hoodie over his head, and explained that it was getting late, suggesting that she should go back to sleep. He added that her father might misunderstand the situation if he saw them together, so it would be best for them to part ways for the night. Despite Lu Yaoyao's persistence in wanting answers, Zhang still hesitated and came up with an excuse about feeling hungry and wanting to prepare some instant noodles before addressing the matter. When Lu Yaoyao reached out to grab Zhang's arms, she couldn't help but notice his torn clothes, which made her even more curious and concerned about what might have happened to him. With a worried expression on her face, Lu Yaoyao shouted at Zhang and asked him about the source of his injuries and the reason for his disheveled state. Despite Zhang's attempt to divert the conversation by mentioning the forgotten eggs, Lu Yaoyao remained persistent in her concern and continued pressing him for an explanation. She told him that she wouldn't let him go unless he told her the truth. Zhang fabricated a story about a robbery he had allegedly encountered, claiming that he had bravely intervened and left the robber severely injured. He tried to downplay the situation, urging Lu Yaoyao not to pity him. He described how the police couldn't even recognize the injured robber due to the extent of his injuries when they arrived at the scene. As Zhang continued recounting the story, Lu Yaoyao fell into a deep silence, processing what had happened to him. He was taken by surprise when Lu Yaoyao unexpectedly reached out and tenderly touched his face, displaying genuine concern for his well-being. Both of them fell into silence, and in that moment, Zhang couldn't help but wonder if Lu Yaoyao genuinely believed the story he had made up. He felt a mixture of uncertainty and curiosity about her reaction.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button for more content. Feel free to leave a comment down below sharing your thoughts or suggestions. If you want to stay updated on all our latest uploads, click the notification bell icon. And hey, why not check out some of our other videos popping up on the screen right now? If you'd like to support the channel, you can do so by liking, sharing, and subscribing. It really means a lot. Peace.